Hey guys, I'm back again. It's August 5th. It's August 5. That's how you say it. You don't say August 5th, you say 5th August or August 5. Anyway, that's the date and it's raining heavily. Oh my god. Like I hope everyone's safe. The weather started out very nice and मज़ा आ रहा था. पढ़ाई करने का मन नहीं होता है किसी को. But यार, now it's dangerous यार. इतने सारे videos आ रहे हैं. I don't know why I'm giving you guys so much bhashan. I always get this feel, that I'm in this whole podcast mood right now. Chai pite pite. Never mind. Anyways, I know you guys are not interested in it. You just want to get to the scene. So I'm going to start with Act 1, Scene 2. If you're in ninth grade, you're doing the scene for the first time with me. If you're in 10th grade, you've done this already, so you can revise it. This is a scene where we are meeting Portia and Nerissa, alright? And we've heard of them. We've heard of Portia actually in scene 1. And this is the first time we get to see her. There's a lot of similarity in the way the scene 1 starts and scene 2 starts because both the main characters, Antonio and Portia, are sad at the start of the scene. The difference though is that Antonio का sadness का कोई reason नहीं है. Like we don't know why he's sad. But Portia is sad for a reason. Her bapu, there was a condition. You know about this already because you know the play. So her bapu had this condition that Portia will get married to the person who comes and chooses one of the three petis that he has set aside. Okay, one is a gold, one is a silver, and one is a lead ka peti. उसमें जिसमें Portia का एक में portrait है. Whoever chooses that portrait will get to marry her. So obviously this is not something that Portia is happy about. She's very depressed. What if वो मोहल्ले के रामू काका के choose करके जाएंगे casket and she will have to marry him. There's no way out, So she's not very happy. So when the scene starts, it's happening in Belmont. That's your 1 mark question by the way. कोई भी scene आता है ये question हमेशा आएगा. Where is the scene taking place? So the scene takes place in Belmont, a room in Portia's house. Enter Portia and Nerissa. Nerissa को लेके another 1 mark का question आएगा. Who is Nerissa? Alright, so you just have to say Nerissa is a maid in waiting or lady in waiting is a more appropriate answer. Lady in waiting का मतलब होता है सखी. Alright, it's not a servant exactly. It's a companion. पहले के ज़माने में होता था. Okay, she's a dost, she's a sakhi. And she did a good job. She didn't sucky at it. Did you get it? She didn't suck at it. She didn't sucky at it. No? Hey, did you guys just stop the recording and throw your phone away? Hello? Okay, you're here. Alright. So anyway, Nerissa is a very good friend of Portia. Alright. Portia and Nerissa enter and Portia starts the dialogue with by my troth. Alright, by my troth, according to your textbook, is by my faith, which makes no sense at all when you are just translating it directly. So by my troth is just an expression like I shappat Nerissa, my little body, matlab main, my little body as an I, am a very matlab tired. I'm tired of this great world. I'm tired of my life. Great world matlab my life. So I swear, Nerissa, I'm tired of my life. And Nerissa says, you would be. Would be. Be pe question mark dal do. You would be what? You would be tired. Nerissa is responding to a question. Nerissa is a very witty chick, alright? She has a nice sense of humor. So for whatever Portia says, Nerissa has a quick comeback. So when Portia says she's tired of her life, Nerissa says, of course you're tired of your life, because your miseries are in the same abundance as your good fortunes are. So anybody whose miseries matlab bad fortunes, bad luck, whose miseries are in the same abundance matlab quantity. So when your bad fortunes are in the same quantity as your good fortunes are, or your good luck is, then you are bound to be sad. You are bound to be tired. Yet for aught I see, aught, A-U-G-H-T, aught, is anything I see. Now anything I see by itself का कोई मतलब नहीं बनता है. In modern English, it simply means from my point of view. So I feel. So for aught I see, matlab from my point of view, or I feel that they are as sick that surfeit with too much as they that starve with nothing. Shakespeare is not the bap for nothing, It was these powerful dialogues which are universal truths, which is why Shakespeare is so respected. ये वाला line देख. I see that they are as sick that surfeit. They matlab people. People that surfeit matlab have too much, have plenty. People who have too much of something are as sick. So they are as sick that surfeit. Matlab people who surfeit, people who have too much, are as sick as those that starve with nothing. So when people have too much of something, they are not very happy. They are as miserable, they are as unfortunate, they are as unlucky as people who have nothing. Now I'm sure you're wondering, sir, that's not true. Look at Ambani's, man. They have so much. Are you saying that they are as unfortunate as the people on the streets? Maybe. We don't know the truth. We don't know what they are going through. We don't know the stress that they are facing. We don't know what's going on in that household. All right. So, yeah, that's the universal truth that when you have too much of anything, too much is never good, except for marks, of course. When you get 99% or 100%, that's always a nice thing. All right. But apart from marks, and pani puri, maybe, when you have too much pani puri, it's never a bad thing. I think I like it. So, anyway, or PlayStation. I think when you have too much of PlayStation, it's not a bad thing. Anyway, besides these things, too much of anything is never good. All right. It is no mean happiness, therefore. It is no मीन हैप्पीनेस. ये मीन को अंडरलाइन करो, इट्स अ पन, क्योंकि 2 बार आएगा, इसके बाद भी 1 बार मीन आएगा वर्ड. ऑलराइट, सो इट इज नो मीन हैप्पीनेस. ये मीन के ऊपर लिखो स्मॉल, लिख लो. इट इज नो स्मॉल हैप्पीनेस देयरफॉर टू बी सीटेड इन द मीन. ये आ गया सेकेंड टाइम मीन. इसका मीनिंग है मिडिल. वो मैथ में कॉन्सेप्ट है मीन मीडियन वाला. सो दिस मीन इज मिडिल. नाउ लेट्स लुक एट द सेंटेंस अगेन. इट इज नो मीन हैप्पीनेस मतलब इट इज नो स्मॉल हैप्पीनेस. It is no small happiness translates into it is big happiness. It is big happiness is wrong grammatically. So correct version of the sentence is it is a great thing. It is a great thing therefore to be seated in the mean. In the mean matlab in the middle. Middle of what? वहाँ पे question mark डाल दो. लिख लो middle of what? So in the middle of too much and too little. जिनके पास बहुत ज़्यादा है या जिनके पास बहुत कम है, they are equally unfortunate. तो खुश कौन है? जिसके पास राइट अमाउंट ऑफ चीज है. दोज हु आर इन द मिडिल, so those who have the right amount of everything are always the happiest. It's a philosophy of life. You may or may not agree with it, but soon enough you'll realize it, that we should always have the right amount of everything. All right. Superfluity comes sooner by white hair, but competency lives longer. Very nice line and very cliche question also. कोई ना कोई यूनिट टेस्ट एग्जाम में या स्कूल एग्जाम में ये आता है, where they'll simply give you explain. Superfluity comes sooner by white hairs, but competency lives longer. Now, whenever a question starts with explain, the way to write this answer is to first begin with who is saying it. That's the format, all right? So, first you begin with Nerissa says this line to Portia when Portia tells her that Portia is tired of this world. Itna de diya sandarbh. Now you explain the line. So, you have to break it down. Superfluity comes sooner by white hair. Matlab white hair, as in old age, you grow old faster when you are superfluid. Superfluid matlab when you have too much of something. So ye likh lo modern translation. When you have too much of something, you age faster. Why do you age faster? Because you are stressed all the time. If I have too much money and I'm traveling, I'm always going to be stressed. What if this money gets stolen? What if someone sees me? What if someone is jealous of my money? All right. So because of the stress, I'm going to grow old faster. All right. So superfluity comes sooner by white hair. But competency lives longer. Competency matlab those who have the right amount. The word competency matlab having the right amount. So when you have the right amount of something, you are going to live longer. You are going to live longer than the person who has too much of something. Alright? It's a universal truth. You may, as kids, you will not agree with it right now. But when you grow older, you'll become wiser. You'll realize that people who have too much wealth are never really very happy. It looks like they're happy, but they're always worried. They always want more. They always want to keep up their lifestyle. They're always worried about something. Alright? So Portia is amazed by Nerissa's philosophy. ताली बजा के बोलती है, wow, बेटा क्या ज्ञान बांटा है. So good sentences and well pronounced. Well pronounced मतलब well said. Nerissa बोलती है, they would be better. They मतलब my ज्ञान. My ज्ञान would be better if well followed. So if people would follow what I'm saying, there's no point in me preaching if someone is not practicing it. So my words will be better if they are well followed. Now well followed is a pun also, by the way. Because well followed means if people follow it, and well followed also means I want you to say something in return. So I want my words to be followed by your words. So it's a pun. So well followed as in if my thoughts are followed, good, it will be better. And well followed means now that I have said something, you need to follow it up with your gyan also. So you also need to say something. Portia dialogue super duper important. Mark it. Mark कर दो, लिख दो, very important. All right. क्या बोलती है? If to do. Yes, universal truth ना. ज्ञान देना बहुत easy है, but करना बहुत difficult है. So if to do were as easy as to know what were good to do, then chapels would be churches and poor men's cottages princes' palaces. All right, let's break it down. If to do matlab to do something. If to do something was as easy as knowing what's good for you. Okay, so we all know that studying regularly is good for you. But do we do it regularly? नहीं, हम लोग last minute तक रुकते हैं. Alright, we all know that exercising is good for you every day, but do we do it? No. So we know everything, but to follow what we know is very difficult. So if to do something was as easy as just knowing what's good to do, then chapels would be churches. So chapel is a small church. Okay. Now why will chapel become a church? Because we all know it's good to go to a temple and pray every day. But not everyone goes to a temple, which is why if a temple is small, it's okay. But if everybody starts waking up every morning and going to the temple to pray, then we'll soon need bigger temples. So chapel is a small building and a church is a big building. So if everyone starts following what's good for them, which means if everyone starts praying regularly, then soon there will be need for bigger churches, bigger buildings. Hence, every chapel will turn into a church. Poor men's cottage will turn into prince's palaces, because we all know it's good to be charitable. We all know it's good to be generous. We all know it's good to be benevolent. But are we all? No, we don't donate all the time, right? But if everybody starts donating religiously, if everybody starts being charitable, then soon there won't be any poverty left. Every poor man's cottage will turn into a prince's palace. It is a good divine. Come to the lectures on time. But if I'm late all the time, you're not going to respect me. Alright? So a good person is somebody who practices what he preaches. Alright? So a good priest is somebody who follows his own instructions. I as in anybody. Anybody can easier matlab easily. Someone can easily teach 20 people what's good to do, rather than be one of those 20 and follow his own teaching. मतलब ज्ञान बांटना बहुत easy है, but जब खुद पे बात आती है तो सबकी फटती है. Okay? So I can easily teach 20 people what's good to do, rather than being one of those 20 people and follow my own teaching. इधर तक सबको समझा क्या है? मेरे को पॉज मारो, पूरा यहाँ तक पढ़ लो एक बार. कुछ नहीं समझा तो वापस रिवाइंड करके पढ़ने का, और फिर भी नहीं समझा तो जल्दी से मेरे को पूछो. Alright, you can either message me or you can just wait until the next Zoom lecture. It's up to you. Alright, but I'm gonna wait until you pause me and read till here, because the next part है वो थोड़ा complicated है. Alright. The brain may devise laws for the blood. Okay? Brain को underline करके लिखो head, and blood को underline करके लिखो dil, as in heart. Alright? So a head will always create, devise मतलब create, laws मतलब rules. So a head will always set up rules for a heart. But a hot temper leaps over a cold decree. A hot temper मतलब impulsiveness. Underline hot temper, write down impulsiveness. For those who don't know the meaning of being impulsive, it's doing something without thinking of consequences. तुम लोग जब कॉपी करते हो, you are being impulsive. वो उस समय पे मजा आता है, but जब वाट लगती है तब then we think क्या सोचना चाहिए था, क्या consequences हो सकता है. तो every young person is impulsive, So our impulsiveness ignores, leaps over मतलब ignores. Underline leaps over, write down ignores. Ignores a cold decree. A cold decree मतलब boring laws. Alright? So boring laws, rules set by who? So cold decree के बाजू में लिखो boring laws set by the head. So our head, our brain sets up rules for us. लोग हमेशा बोलते हैं कि लॉजिकल बनने का. Listen to your head. हमेशा दिल की सुनोगे तो वाट लग जाएगी पब्लिक में. बिकॉज दिल तुम्हें इस एज में भी बोलता है बारिश में जाके नाच. दिल तुम्हें बोलता है कि जाके किसी को बोल दे कि शी लुक्स गुड और ही लुक्स गुड. बट दिमाग बोलता है अबे मत कर, थप्पड़ पड़ेगी. मत कर, लोग पागल समझेंगे. इस उम्र में कोई बारिश में जाके नाचता है क्या? बट अ किड, अ स्मॉल किड who has no sense of the world will go and dance in the rains. He doesn't care what the people think about him. But as we grow older, we start worrying about what others are thinking about us. Alright? So we stop listening to our heart and we listen to our head instead. Which is not always a wise thing to do, but that's how the society works. So our head will always tell us what's the practical thing to do. But our heart will always tell us what the right thing is. So I always believe that you should listen to your heart, not to your head. Alright? But the world says, listen to your head. So Portia says, a brain, as in your head, will create rules for the blood, will create laws for the blood, for the heart. But our impulsive nature, our heart, impulsive nature is your heart, always ignores the rules set by the brain. Such a hair, metaphorically, your impulsive nature or heart, a heart of a young person, has been compared to a hare. A hare is a rabbit. Which such a hare is madness. So it's a metaphor. So madness of the youth. Underline madness of the youth. This entire phrase, madness of the youth, matlab impulsive nature of a young person. In other words, the heart. So a heart of a young person has been compared to a rabbit or a hare, a wild rabbit, which will skip over. Skip over is the same as leaps over, is the same as ignores. So our heart will always ignore the meshes, meshes मतलब the boundaries of good counsel मतलब wise advice set by the cripple. Underline the word cripple. Cripple over here is our brain. The actual meaning of the word cripple is a handicapped person or an old person. The brain over here has been called old because it cannot keep up with the speed of the heart. So brain तो लॉस तो डिवाइड कर लेता है, डिवाइस कर लेता है, ब्रेन रूल्स क्रिएट कर लेता है कि ये नहीं करना चाहिए, वो नहीं करना चाहिए, बट हमारा हार्ट बहुत फास्ट है. You know, when you're young, you don't listen to your head too much. You only do what your heart says. Okay, so you ignore the rules that your mind has set for you. All right, and that is what Portia is saying. In short, in a nutshell, what Portia is saying is that young people do what their heart says, not what the head says. All right, which is true. Everybody agrees. Everybody agrees that young people, they end up being rebellious. They end up doing what their heart tells them and not what the brain tells them. But Portia, in spite of being young, does not do that. Okay, so the next line is, alas, this reasoning matlab this gyan of mine, this philosophy of mine. So reasoning ko circle karo, question mark dalo, और जब मैं पूछूंगा what does reasoning refer to, so it's that entire line from brain से लेके cripple तक. So brain से लेके cripple तक is the answer for what the reasoning is. All right, so this reasoning is not in the fashion मतलब not applicable to choose me a husband. All right, वापस बताता हूँ. जब हर यंग पर्सन अपने दिल की सुनता है तो मेरा दिल भी बोल रहा है कि आई कैन गो एंड मैरी समबडी हु आई लव, बट आई कैन नॉट यूज दिस फंडा इन माई लाइफ. आई कैन नॉट लिसन टू माई हार्ट. आई कैन नॉट मैरी एनीबडी हु आई लव बिकॉज ऑफ माई फादर. ओ मी, ओ माई, द वर्ड चूज, धत तेरी. ओ मी मतलब धत तेरी. ये वर्ड चूज भी इतना घटिया वर्ड है ना, बिकॉज मेरे लाइफ में तो यह ही नहीं है. द वर्ड चॉइस इज नोवेयर इन द डिक्शनरी ऑफ माई लाइफ. आई मे नीदर चूज, मे मतलब कैन. I can neither choose whom I would matlab love, wish, love, you know, wish to marry. So I can neither choose who I wish to marry, nor refuse who I dislike. So is the will. So ko underline karo. This is how. The meaning of so is this is how. This is how the will of a living daughter is curbed by the will of a dead father. Will of a living daughter. Pan hai hai. Okay, very important dialogue also हर exam में पूछते ही है. Okay. So will को circle करो पहले वाला, वहाँ लिखो wishes. This is how the wishes of a living daughter here is Portia, is curbed मतलब stopped, crushed by the will, and this वाला will is a pun. It means a legal document. हिंदी में वसीयत, a legal document, वसीयत of my dead father. तो मेरे dead father के जो conditions है, that surpasses my wishes as a young girl. Is it not hard, Nerissa? Not hard मतलब is it not difficult, Nerissa, that I cannot choose one over here is Pati Parmeshwar. So I cannot choose a Pati Parmeshwar, nor can I refuse anyone. So nor can I refuse none. I love this dialogue. Alright. Nerissa का dialogue super important once again because हमेशा आएगा ये. Okay, ये एक standard question है. How does Nerissa console Portia? How does Nerissa make Portia feel better? Or what does Nerissa say about Portia's father? कोई भी question आ सकता है, answer यही रहेगा. Nerissa बोलती है, your father was ever मतलब always. Your father has always been virtuous मतलब a man of wonderful qualities. तेरा बापू पगला नहीं गया था, तेरा बापू सटिया नहीं गया था, तेरा बापू एक वाइज इंसान है. ओके, चाचा चौधरी है वो. ऑलराइट, सो योर फादर वाज एवर वर्चुअस, वाज ऑलवेज क्लेवर. एंड होली मैन मतलब डिवाइन पीपल लाइक योर फादर, एट देयर डेथ ऑलवेज हैव गुड आइडियाज, इंस्पिरेशंस मतलब आइडियाज. सो कहा जाता है कि होली पीपल लाइक योर फादर ऑफन हैव गुड इंस्पिरेशंस मतलब आइडियाज, विजन्स एट देयर डेथ बेड. विच इज वाई द लॉटरी को ऑनलाइन करो, लिखो लॉटरी ऑफ द कैस्केट्स. लॉटरी मतलब गैम्बल. It is a gamble, right? It's based on luck. So the lottery that he has and Portia's father hath matlab has devised matlab come up with, created. In these 3 chests of gold, silver and lead, matlab ye jo lottery unhone create ki of the 3 caskets of gold, silver and lead, whereof matlab in which, who chooses his, underline karo, मतलब a person who makes his choice, wherein a person who makes his choice of the casket, meaning chooses you को 2 arrows डालो ऊपर. पहला वाला arrow your portrait and second वाला arrow you. मतलब जो भी बंदा right casket choose करता है, मतलब तेरा portrait choose करता है, मतलब तुझे choose करता है, will no doubt never be chosen by any rightly but one who will rightly love. थोड़ा complicated दिख रहा है, but वो line बहुत simple है. The line is, a person who chooses you, as in your portrait, or the casket with your portrait, is always going to be the person who rightly loves you and nobody else. एक और बार बोल रहा हूं, चाहिए तो लिख लो. Person who chooses the right casket will no doubt be someone who truly loves you and nobody else. Alright? इतना समझा? अब नैरसा उसका मन हल्का करने की ट्राई कर रही है. They are sitting at a balcony, they are looking outside, alright, in the courtyard there are suitors. उसका स्वयंवर चल रहा है, तो कुछ suitors आए हुए हैं, वो लोग उसको देख रहे हैं, और नैरसा बोलती है चल ना ये सब छोड़, चल कुछ मजे की बात करते हैं. What warmth is there in your affection? मतलब तेरे को इन लॉन्डो में से कौन पसंद है? ये जो 6 स्टड लॉन्डे हैं नीचे, all these guys who are here, who do you want to right swipe? Okay, so what warmth is there in your affection? In your affection मतलब in your feelings towards any of these princely suitors that are already come. मतलब ये जो suitors आए हैं तुझे निहारने के लिए, तुझे चूज करने के लिए, इनमें से कोई तुझे पसंद है क्या? पोर्शिया बोलती है एक काम करते हैं, गेम खेलते हैं. I pray thee मतलब I request you. Overname them, as in is name them. Start telling me their names, and as you namest them, thou मतलब you, namest मतलब name. So as you name them मतलब these suitors, I will describe them. तो तू नाम ले और मैं वो नाम के बेसिस पर डिस्क्राइब करूंगी. And according to my description, level at my affection. Level at my affection मतलब you can judge my affection. You can judge my feelings based on my description. तो मेरे description से तू समझ जाएगी what I feel about them. यहाँ तक सबको समझा? Sure? Alright. So first there's a Neapolitan prince. Now, what sort of questions come in the example है ये समझ लो. They will ask you to name the 6 suitors. Alright? So you have to learn the suitors in order. ठीक है, मेरे को सारे नाम ऑर्डर में चाहिए. Neapolitan prince, County Palatine, French lord Monsieur Le Bon, then the Falconbridge, the young baron of England, then the Scottish lord, and then the Duke of Saxony's nephew. Alright, ये 6 नाम तुम्हें ऑर्डर में लर्न करना जरूरी है. Alright, so first there's a Neapolitan prince. Neapolitan prince is from Neapolitan. It's a place in Italy. So these people were well known for their horsemanship. वो लोग horses में बहुत interest रखते थे. So Portia teases him. Aye, that's a colt indeed. Alright, it's a metaphor. Portia metaphorically calls him a colt. Colt is a young one of a horse. For he doth nothing. Doth मतलब does. He does nothing but talk of his horse all day long, day in and day out. सिर्फ घोड़ों की बातें करता है. And he makes it a great appropriation to his own good parts. Underline that line. Makes it a great appropriation to his own good parts. In simpler language, according to him, it's a great quality. According to him, it's a great talent. According to him, it's a great quality that he can shoe his horse himself. He, as a Neapolitan, can shoe him. Him over here is the horse himself. मतलब उसको लगता है कि उसके horse को shoe पहनाना is a talent जो उसको आता है. So clearly, Portia is not being sarcastic over here. She says, I don't like this guy. So Nerissa says, no problem. अपने पास बहुत लोग हैं. So what about County Palatine? So County Palatine is a count. Count is a title. You know, like Duke, Earl. ये सारे titles थे उस ज़माने में. Like Badshah, Shahenshah, वैसे. So the Count of Palatinate is a region on the west bank of Rhine. And this guy is always frowning. He never smiles at all. So he doth nothing. He does nothing but frown. Frown as in is the opposite of smile, you know. Frown is what you guys do whenever there's a test. So that's frowning. As who should say, matlab, as if he's trying to say, and you shall not have me choose, which simply means he's so sad all the time, as if he's trying to say it doesn't matter to him whether I choose is marry, whether I marry him or not. And like, थोड़ी तो खुशी होनी चाहिए ना यार, मैं उससे शादी करने वाली हूँ. Like, उसके चेहरे पे कुछ तो खुशी होनी चाहिए. But इसका चेहरा हमेशा ऐसे होता है as if उसको कोई फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता whether I marry him or not. Alright, so he's not going to be happy whether I'm in his life or not. He hears merry tales, he hears funny stories, but still doesn't smile. Smiles not. I seriously think, I think, he will prove is grow up to be. He will turn into the weeping philosopher. Underline, it's an allusion, very important. He will turn into the weeping philosopher when he grows old. Being so full of unmannerly मतलब unusual sadness in his youth. वो बचपन में इतना सैड है तो बड़े होके भाई he'll turn into a weeping philosopher. अब ये weeping philosopher was a character. It's an allusion given on the side. Heraclitus of Ephesus. So Heraclitus of Ephesus went to live alone in the mountains because he was distressed मतलब troubled by mankind's stupidity. So ये एक बंदा था who thought that यार human beings are so stupid, I don't want to be with them. Alright, and he went and retired into the mountains. And I think this guy will also turn into the same weeping philosopher. I would rather be married to a death's head with a bone in the mouth than either of these. Either of these पे underline करो. That's Count Palatine and Neapolitan Prince. मतलब ये दोनों इतने बदतर choices है. I would rather marry a death head. Death head is a skull. I would rather marry a skull with a bone in its mouth. Now believe me, एक prelim paper में पूछा था, why is there a bone in the mouth of a skull? Death's head is actually the skull which has two bones underneath it. You know, pirates के ऊपर वो pirates के flags पे वो sign देखते हैं, भिवंडी के trucks पे वो sign देखते हैं. Alright, so that is the death's head over here. Alright, so I would rather be married to a death's head with a bone in his mouth than either of these. Either of these, मतलब these two people. Boy, God defend me from these two. I hope God saves me from these two. अब आता है अपना तीसरा बंदा, the French Lord Monsieur Le Bon. Monsieur is Mr. I don't know if that's a correct pronunciation. My French is horrible. Alright, so how say you, what do you think about the French Lord Monsieur Le Bon? Le Bon is this guy, alright? So what do you think about this person? There's an allusion on the side over here. Monsieur Le Bon literally means Sir the Good. It's a satire. He's making fun of a traditional Frenchman. Who he? Shakespeare. Le Bon is the in French and Monsieur is Mr. So Bon is good. So Sir the Good. God made him, therefore let him pass for a man. Pasha bolti, you know what? I can't mock him really. But I want to say that God created him, which is why I'm ready to believe that he's human. Man over here is not man and woman wala gender wala man. Man over here is human. Like it's difficult for me to understand that he's a single individual. So God made him, therefore let him pass. Let him pass, I will believe that he's a man. Because in truth is honestly, I know it's a sin to be a mocker. I know it's a sin. It's a pathetic thing. It's a horrible thing to make fun of someone. But why? He has a horse better than the Neapolitans. Which simply means he talks more about horses than a Neapolitan guy. Alright? He has a better bad habit. Better bad is worse. He has a worse habit of frowning. Frowning is what Count Palatine used to do. So he has a worse habit of frowning. He has a worse habit of frowning than Count Palatine. He is every man and no man. Matlab, he is like every man but has no individual personality of his own. So he tries to copy every single individual but has no personality of his own. If a throstle sings, throstle is thrush, thrush is a bird. So if a bird sings, he falls straight a capering. Straight a capering matlab starts dancing. If a bird sings, he starts dancing. He will fence with his own shadow. Fence. Fencing is a sport, you know. You must have seen it, though you can't recollect it. People wear a full suit, you know, they wear a white suit or a black suit. They have a mask on the face and they have this pointed long sword. It looks like a long needle. Okay, and then they fence with each other. They indulge in a fight. Tom and Jerry में देखा है, Race 2 में Jacqueline के साथ देखा है, James Bond के एक movie में Pierce Brosnan is indulging in fencing. It's a nice sport. So he will fence with his own shadow. If I should marry him, I should marry 20 husbands. Which simply means, because he has no individual personality of his own, marrying this French guy is like marrying 20 different people. If I should marry him, I should marry 20 husbands. If he would despise me, you know, if he rejects me, I really will forgive him. I'm not going to feel bad about it. Now, you need to know that in those days, rejections were a very bad thing. They were not very gracefully handled. How can this guy reject me? You know, how did he say no to me? Mujhe bhi wo nahi chahiye. But you know, if this guy ends up rejecting me, if this guy ends up hating me, I'm not actually going to complain about it. I'm going to be okay. I'll forgive him. Because if he does love me, despise ka opposite. So if he doesn't hate me and if he loves me instead to madness, then I will never requite him. Requite matlab return his love. So I don't think I'll be able to love him as much as he loves me. This is French Lord Monsieur Le Bon. We are left with Falconbridge. We are left with Duke of Saxony's nephew. But I finished, I think, 2.5 sides. That's approximately 3 sides. So we'll stop here right now. Study it now. See if you have any doubts. Tell me if I need to improve somewhere. If you don't understand something, let me know. I hope this scene made sense to you until here. Stay safe, take care, listen to it again and again and again until you actually understand it. Love you all. Take care. Bye.